joining us for an episode of Patient Testimonial. Today we're here with Fernando Lopez, who is an Army combat veteran. Today Fernando has taken a moment to step out from behind the scenes of the Utah Patients Online Training production crew. Fernando Lopez is a medical cannabis for the state of Utah and also a veteran. But most importantly for our family at UPOT, he is our Spanish liaison and also our veteran outreach coordinator. Today, Fernando has joined us to give us his testimony on how medical cannabis helps to ease some of the medical conditions that he deals with every day. Fernando, first I'd like to thank you for joining me here and thank you for your service to our country. It means a lot that a veteran's willing to sit down and be open and to talk about some of the concerns that patients across our state have in the state of Utah. So I want to thank you for joining us, more importantly here, so that we can get an insight to what you go through on a daily basis and how medical cannabis helps you.
It's my pleasure.
Well, we're happy to have you here. So Fernando, first I'd like to ask you, what are you treating with medical cannabis?
I treat my PTSD, and I have a C2 and C3 fusion in my neck operation that was done. So I'm treating pain as well.
Okay, so your qualifying conditions are PTSD and then also for pain in your neck. What kind of pain do you have in your neck? Is it neuropathic, muscle?
I would have to say it's both.
Okay, so you suffer from a lot of muscle tension and some neuropathy from the fusion, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, and so how does medical cannabis help to alleviate those two things? What does it do for your PTSD? Let's start with that.
Well, it helps me so that rather than having any PTSD moments, it calms me down and it keeps me nice and mellow.
So it helps to stabilize your moods, and in a fight or flight situation, does it help with calming those episodes down?
Oh yes, absolutely. Before it used to be, I'd be ready to fight, and now I'm not ready to fight anybody. I'm more flight now. I'm calmed down, and it definitely has calmed me down a lot.
I'm glad to hear that cannabis helps you so much. And I hope for other veterans that are out in the state of Utah, if you do need assistance in getting medical cannabis, please know that you can reach Fernando Lopez through our Facebook platform, and he can assist you in knowing how to qualify for medical cannabis. Fernando, you also stated that you use it for pain for your neck. How does cannabis help to alleviate the pain in your neck and in your lower back?
Well, what I do is I will take it as a gummy, as an edible, or a tincture, or I'll vaporize it, and it'll help with my pain.
And in what way does it help with the pain? Does it help to just subside it?
It dulls it, and it definitely makes me not feel the pain as bad.
On a pain scale of 1 to 10, if you were at a pain scale of 10 and you were to consume cannabis, what does the cannabis on that pain scale do for you? What number does it bring you down to?
On a daily basis, I wake up and I'm on that 10 to start with. After consumption, it drops me down to a good 7. 6 or 7 I can live with.
So you're able to function better. And now when your pain is alleviated and you're calmer, has that improved the quality of life for things that you're able to do that you weren't able to do prior to medical cannabis?
Oh, absolutely. It got me off all opiates.
Are you completely off of opioids?
I am.
And how many opioids a day would you say that you were taking prior to cannabis medication for your pain?
24 to 36
Pills a day,
pills a day.
but those weren't all opioid medications. Those were also other
Those were
medications.
also other medications due to my condition.
And with cannabis use, you've now removed opioids, which I want to commend you on that. It's a real trial to do that. I myself personally, although I use cannabis, I still take at least an opiate or two a day for my pain. So I commend you on that, because it is a very, very big challenge to come off opioids. And understanding that a lot of patients do replace their medications, and that is a big triumph for so many across our state, because a lot of patients have unwanted side effects from other medications. So Fernando, it is nice to hear that that's helping for you. Another question for you is, a lot of patients are also getting benefit from cannabis for things that are not qualifiers in our state. We could refer to those as secondary conditions, being that a condition may be helped that's not a qualifier. Can you tell us about some of the other things that you may go through that cannabis also has improved in your life and helps you with for other medical conditions?
Oh, absolutely. Depression. It's helped with my depression. Helped with sleeping. Excuse me for a moment.
It's okay. I understand. I want the patients and the viewers out there to understand these patient testimonials are personal, and I do have some tissue right next to you, Fernando. These testimonials are personal. They are in depth, and what patients go through, it's significant. These are real lives. Patients across our state, they struggle. Health is real. It is one of the most profound things that a human being can go through, is loss of health to themselves. It doesn't just affect the veterans, it doesn't just affect citizens, it affects everyone, because health can be affected by any age. It doesn't discriminate. It doesn't care if you're old or young. It doesn't care if you live in one place or another. Everyone can be affected, and it's not easy, and what you go through is difficult, and it's real. As a veteran, it's a struggle, and it can be a struggle. So we understand where you come from. If you could look at your legislators right now, turn to your legislators and tell them what you would want them to know and what you need. What do you still need in the state of Utah to help you?
Well, I would like to have the opportunity to smoke it, try that method, see if that works. I'd like to see more movement in the cannabis industry with the laws and stuff. Faster movement, especially for fellow veterans.
We're going to go ahead and take a quick moment. We'll be back here with you to complete our interview with Fernando. We certainly want to thank him for joining us right now, but we're going to go ahead and take a moment. Thank you. We are back now to go ahead and continue Fernando Lopez's testimonial. Fernando, I know that things have been a challenge for you, and we've seen movement. And you've stated that the one thing that you'd like legislators to do is move quicker on legislation and laws. access for veterans, that you'd like to see more veterans helped in our state, what is the one thing that you think legislation can do to help veterans more?
I would have to say make it easier to qualify. Easier to go through the VA directly instead of having to go outside the VA system to get a QMP qualifier to be able to get your license for cannabis.
So you'd like our legislators to start pushing on a more federal level so that at the federal level veterans could be helped directly through the VA, is that correct?
Absolutely.
That's a wonderful thing, and I think that that is something that is really needed in our country. Our veterans have served our country proudly. They put their lives on the line every day. We see war happening across our globe. We see people at each other. Our veterans fought for our freedom to have the right to formulate laws, that in our country we have a process of democracy, and we need federal legalization for our veterans. So for Fernando, it is important that federal legalization does happen, and we do support that here on Utah Patients Online Training. Fernando, I really want to thank you so much for stopping to talk to me today and giving patients an insight into a life of a veteran treating with medical cannabis. Thank you for sharing some of the processes that you use and some of the formats. Before we go today, I would like you to tell me your favorite format that you like to use cannabis in.
My favorite format would have to be edibles.
And why would you choose edibles as your favorite format?
Just because I have IBS, and by using the edibles, it calms down the pain in my stomach so that I don't hurt as bad.
So that's another secondary condition that you have. So really, Fernando's treating multiple conditions. He's treating a neck fusion. He's treating PTSD. It's helping his insomnia. It's helping with depression. It's also helping with his IBS, which is irritable bowel syndrome. I, being a patient of gastroparesis, understand that pain conditions in the stomach are often really significant. So I'm glad to hear that cannabis is helping you with so many things in your life, and that it's helping to improve the quality of your life. Fernando, I do really want to thank you for joining me and taking a moment to step out from behind the scenes from all the hard work you've been doing at UPOT. Again, I do want to let you know that Fernando is our Veterans Outreach. If you are a veteran in need and you're not certain how to even qualify or where do you start to begin to get your records so that you can go to a QMP, which is a qualified medical provider, or to an LMP who can recommend to up to 15 patients in the state of Utah. So if you do need some assistance, please join the Facebook platform. Join at Utah Patients Online Training. You'll find our logo on our Facebook site. If you're in need of help, please just directly message Fernando Lopez or myself. You can outreach to any of our administrators, but Fernando is a veteran who has become qualified, can assist in getting you the steps that you need to become a medical cannabis patient if you're looking at this option. We also have him as our Spanish liaison. If you're Spanish-speaking veteran, please reach out to Fernando if you're in need of any assistance, or if you're a Spanish-speaking resident of the state of Utah that's needing assistance, Fernando's more than happy to help. You can reach him through our Facebook platform, through Messenger, or also just put a post on the Facebook group. Any of us will be more than happy to get back to you. We want to thank you for joining Fernando and I today for a testimonial episode, and we thank you so much for joining us. Have a happy day medicating.